All right, welcome to POL SCI 935 Computational Social Science. My name is Patrick Kraft, and I hope all of you are doing well and getting ready for the semester to start. Before we begin, I want to talk briefly about some of the course logistics, since this is going to be a hybrid course and we're going to spend a lot of time online, interacting online, watching YouTube videos and things like that. So I want to briefly talk about the logistics before we start with the actual material next week. So before I begin, let's briefly talk about what computational social science is. And in the context of our class, we think of computational social science as a discipline that uses computer-based techniques to analyze the rapidly increasing amount of data produced via digital sources or currently being archived in digital form. Right, so this seminar is supposed to provide you with the tools to actually engage in research projects using either new digital sources or archived text data and things like that to help you with your research projects. So what are the goals of this course? What you're going to do in this course is, first, you'll be able to describe the opportunities and challenges that the digital age creates for social research. You're going to evaluate modern research from the perspectives of both social science and data science. And you will create modern research proposals that blend ideas from social science and data science. And then you will practice the techniques needed to actually conduct your proposed research. And I want to emphasize that this last part is one of the most important pieces in this course, since throughout the semester, you're going to mostly work on your own research project. From start to finish, basically. So let me briefly talk about the textbook and the required material. A lot of the lecture sessions are going to be based on our required textbook, which I have here as well. I hope you all have a copy already. If not, get in touch with me. It's called Bit by Bit: Social Research in the Digital Age. And I really like this book because it discusses a lot of the underlying concepts and new opportunities for research that the digital age brings for social scientists in a really good way, and also provides a lot of examples from recent research that I think is quite illuminating. So I'm excited to discuss this book with you. There are a couple of additional resources. The first one should look familiar to most of you. It's the Plain Person's Guide to Plain Text Social Science. And if you took 701 either with me or with Hong Min, you've read this piece before. And I just wanted to put it out there again for you to actually reread it and think a little bit about the extent to which you can incorporate some of the advice that is mentioned there regarding the use of text editors and our Markdown to produce reproducible research, to use version control like GitHub and things like that. And I really want to remind you of that source and think about ways, or urge you to think about ways of how you can incorporate those in your actual research workflow. And if you have any questions, for example, about version control using Git and GitHub, I'm happy to talk about those in more detail throughout the semester as well. There are 3 additional books that I will use in some of the workshops that we'll have, but all these books are freely available online. You can, of course, order printed copies of those as well. The first one we're going to use is R for Data Science, which kind of provides a broad introduction into the tidyverse, which is kind of the first topic of one of our workshops that is coming up next week. The second one is data visualization. Again, there's a free online version available of this book, but you can also get the printed copy. And this is a really great introduction into ggplot, a powerful graphics package in R, and that has a lot of good advice for your own visualizations and actual whatever problems you have as you kind of write up your final project. And then the last one, since some of you indicated in the survey that I fielded now a couple of weeks ago, that you were interested in potentially looking into some text analysis. So we're going to introduce some methods for text analysis using the book Text Mining, or Tidy Text Mining with R. So a little bit more of housekeeping. What are the activities of this course? So I mentioned that this is a hybrid course, and the main activities are all kind of focused on either the main concepts in computational social science and learning the tools to actually conduct your own research project. And most of those will happen online, but there will also be a face-to-face component to the extent that it's going to be possible this semester. So we'll kind of see how things are going. But in terms of your activities to get a first introduction to the material, of course, there will be assigned readings for each week. And I added a schedule in our syllabus. And I urge you to read those assigned readings always before the session that they're assigned to. So there's a session assigned with a date in the syllabus, and you should always make sure to complete all the readings that are assigned for that week before we have that session as stated in the syllabus. A week before each session stated in the syllabus, I will also upload lecture videos where I will talk about the assigned readings, as well as other concepts and tools that we will learn throughout the semester. Then the third big part are the Q&A sessions. Those will happen on the assigned dates that are listed in the syllabus for each topic that is in there. And again, the goal there is to answer all questions that you have related to the material or related to the problem sets and assignments. So in those Q&A sessions, I'm not going to go over all the stuff that I covered in the lecture videos or in the readings themselves, but it's more a forum for us to discuss maybe extensions or discuss any questions or problems that you had. How does the grading work? So based on that, there are a couple of different parts that count for your final grade. The first one is problem sets. There will be 5 different problem sets, but I will only grade the 4 highest, or I will only include the 4 highest grades to count towards your final grade. So that's 20% of your final grade. Then there will be a project proposal. That's 30% of your grade. You'll have to submit that project proposal pretty much half-time in the semester, where you kind of outline your idea for a research project. And we'll talk more about that in the upcoming weeks. Based on that project proposal, you will then, at the end of the semester, submit a final paper where you actually conduct some of the research that you proposed in the initial stage. That's going to be 40%. And then the last part is going to be 2 separate peer reviews. So what we're going to do is that once you submit your project proposal as well as your final paper, we will distribute those between students, and you will be asked to write a short constructive review of your peers' work, and that will be part of your grade as well. Overall, what is the style of this course, or at least what is my goal for this course, even though it's online or hybrid, and that of course will be challenging. I still want this course to be as active and collaborative as possible. I hope that the Q&A sessions, which can be face-to-face if the conditions allow it, or will be online via Collaborate Ultra, that you all actively participate in the Q&A sessions, talk about the research. This is I aim for kind of a workshop character where you all benefit by contributing and by working through problems that you have with your own research projects. As part of that, always keep in mind that we want to be as supportive and constructive as possible. We will talk a lot about each other's work, and it's important that we keep in mind that we're always supportive and constructive in our criticism. And this course is also evolving. So this is the first time I'm teaching 935, and I try to take into account a lot of the requests and feedback that I got from the survey earlier in the summer. And so I try to gear it towards each of your individual interests. And luckily, it's a very small course. So there's a lot of flexibility. And if you look at the syllabus, you'll also see that for 2 weeks or the 2 last sessions before the final session, there's still readings to be determined, and there's basically there are open sessions. And so we can gear those towards whatever topic will be most useful for you and your project. And we can just also sit down and work through the actual steps that are necessary to complete your final project. But there's also a broader point that I want to make. Since this is such a small kind of workshop style course, I really want you to give me feedback right from the start, because I can easily adjust where this course is headed depending on your interest and how things are going. And of course, this will be, a lot of this will be challenging with COVID and being online or mostly online. But since it's a small group, I hope we can still make the best out of this and really have a productive time, an interesting time together. So just briefly, what if you have any questions, both now and throughout the semester? The main forum, as I said, for you to ask any questions, both about the material or about problem sets or about administrative stuff, are the Q&A sessions. So we're going to meet once a week. You can choose whether you join this Q&A session in person or remotely. And all questions that you have about the course, you can raise there, and hopefully we can answer them right away. If you can wait until the Q&A session, or if there's something else going on, you can always post your questions on the Canvas discussion board. That's the other alternative. And I also hope that you will, even if you don't have questions, check out the discussion board every now and then. Hopefully we'll get other people might have questions, and you might be able to help other people with their project or whatever else might come up. So hopefully this will be a useful resource as well. Lastly, you can always email me or contact me, or contact our TA Yan Hee, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. So, what should you do next before the actual class period starts? There are a couple of things you can do to get ready. As I said, you can reread the Plain Person's Guide to Plain Text Social Science. I included the link here, and it's also on Canvas. If you haven't done so already, please install both our terminal and our studio. But we will not only use our studio, we will also use RStudio Cloud. And RStudio Cloud is basically an online platform that allows you to work in an R environment or an RStudio environment remotely. And this will allow us to work through some of the problem sets or lectures or any part that has some programming aspect. And it will allow us to both kind of all work in the same workspace, but also it will allow me to kind of look at your code and directly give you feedback if there is any problems or if anything doesn't run. It'll make kind of the advising a lot more easy. So at least when we work together in our workshops, we will use RStudio Cloud. If you're later working on your own projects, you might switch to working on your own machine on using RStudio. But at least for the kind of lecture and workshop part, hopefully, even if it's remotely, RStudio Cloud will allow us to efficiently work on code together. And we'll talk more next week about setting that up. If you're new to R, I think most of you have some experience with R and RStudio. But if you want to kind of refresh your memory, you can work through some of the RStudio Cloud primers. The link is there as well. It starts with very basic concepts of R and basic statistical programming, but there's also some more, for example, if you're new to the tidyverse, there are some intros to those packages as well. So I encourage you to take a look at those if you kind of want a refresher on that. Lastly, as I mentioned, we're going to use RStudio Cloud for a lot of the kind of collaborative programming part of this course. So one thing you can do right away is create an account on RStudio Cloud and then afterwards join our shared workspace. And I included a link on Canvas that gives you permission to join that shared workspace. And maybe I'll just go real quick. Let's see if that works. Maybe I'll go real quick and show you how that would be. So this is our current Canvas page for our class. There's a lot of information, the syllabus, campus resources, and so on. And there's a little link here to join the shared workspace in RStudio Cloud. If you click on that, you'll see another field where you can click on to join this shared workspace. It will open in a new window. If you click that link, you'll be redirected to a page that looks like this. And you can create your account, or if you already created your account, you can just log in, and then you will see something that looks like this. Now this will take a little while. Hopefully it won't take forever. Okay, I'm going to use my secondary account. Okay, of course this now takes forever, but that's unfortunate. I thought this would show me a message right away to join that workspace, but maybe I already joined it. Well, that's too bad. You'll see it should be relatively self-explanatory. You'll see a message asking you whether you want to join this workspace. And then if you click OK, you'll see this workspace on the left here. And it's empty right now, but I will start filling it up with code that I use both in the lecture and in the workshops. And then you can directly kind of copy that project and work on the code yourself. And also add your own code, and then I can check that code if there's any problems. So we'll start working with that next week, and so if you have some time, kind of get started and get used to that that platform. All right. Too bad that the link didn't work. I was so well prepared. Oh well. Okay. So let's go back to this. All right, after you've done all of this, make sure to check Canvas regularly for more information and updates. I will continue to fill Canvas with new information for each week, with lecture videos. I will post the first assignment fairly soon because that will be a relatively large one. Not every assignment will be as large as the first one, but with the first one, I kind of want to get you started to kind of get an idea of how you can collect new data and work with messy data and stuff like that. So that'll be fun, and I will upload that pretty soon. That's pretty much it. That's all I have for you today. As I said, welcome to the course. I'm super excited to have you, and I know this is maybe a crazy time, and it'll be challenging to do all of this remotely. But I nevertheless hope that it'll be interesting and productive and exciting for you and your research. All right, that's all.